For roughly 10 years, microbiologists worked out how a strange package of DNA could cross from one bacterial species into another. Their experimentally confirmed answer had not yet been published. When researchers gave the same mystery to an artificial intelligence system, its highest-ranked explanation matched the hidden mechanism within days. That sounds like AI compressed a decade of science into a weekend. It did something remarkable, but not what the viral headline suggests. To see why, enter a microscopic world where bacteria, viruses, and stolen tails are locked in an evolutionary arms race. The mystery involved mobile genetic elements called capsid-forming phage-inducible chromosomal islands, shortened to CFPICIs. Think of them as compact parcels of DNA that can exploit bacteriophages, the viruses that infect bacteria, to move between cells. That movement matters because mobile DNA can carry traits that influence bacterial evolution, including antimicrobial resistance. But ordinary phages usually infect only a narrow range of bacterial hosts. The CFPICIs appeared across surprisingly different species. Somehow, these genetic passengers were crossing borders that should have stopped them. The central question was simple to ask and extremely difficult to prove. What vehicle were they using? Human scientists did not spend 10 years staring at one question. They accumulated observations, designed controls, discarded wrong explanations, and physically tested how the particles were assembled. Biology moves at the speed of growing cultures, repeating experiments and building enough evidence for others to trust. By the time AI entered the story, the team had already validated the mechanism. They kept the decisive manuscript unavailable to the system, creating a rare test. Could AI reconstruct the hidden explanation from the scientific record that existed before the final answer became public? Google's co-scientist is not a single chatbot producing one confident paragraph. A supervisor divides the research goal among specialized agents. A generation agent proposes explanations. Reflection looks for weaknesses. Ranking forces competing hypotheses into head-to-head comparisons. Evolution combines promising ideas or pushes them in new directions. Proximity checks whether an idea is genuinely different from existing work, while meta-review synthesizes the strongest results. The system can search literature and call specialized tools. Its hypotheses compete repeatedly in a tournament scored with an ELO-style rating borrowed from competitive games. More computation means more rounds of criticism, rejection, and refinement. The machine is not having inspiration. It is conducting an enormous guided search through possible explanations. The system's leading explanation was a microscopic act of piracy. The CFPICIs could produce capsids, protective containers loaded with their DNA, but those containers lacked tails. Phage tails are the machinery that recognize and attach to bacterial hosts. The AI proposed that CFPICIs interact with tails from different helper phages, using adapter and connector proteins to assemble chimeric infectious particles. Change the borrowed tail, and the same genetic package may gain access to a different species. In effect, the DNA parcel was not forcing its way through every bacterial border. It was repeatedly changing the key fitted to its delivery vehicle. That hypothesis matched the mechanism the microbiologists had already confirmed. Because the decisive result was unpublished, the AI could not simply quote the final paper. This is the extraordinary part. It assembled a correct, highly ranked explanation from the available evidence within days. Here is the catch. It did not reproduce 10 years of laboratory work, discover the phenomenon from raw nature, or prove the mechanism by itself. It entered after decades of public research had already narrowed the search space, and earlier papers contained important clues. What it compressed was hypothesis generation, the intellectual hunt for an explanation, not the slow experimental process required to establish that the explanation was true. The bacterial mystery was a controlled rediscovery, but other co-scientist proposals entered new laboratory tests. For acute myeloid leukemia, researchers combined its drug repurposing ideas with computational analysis, oncologist review, and cancer cell experiments. Several candidates reduced tumor cell viability at clinically relevant concentrations. In another study, liver fibrosis proposals showed anti-fibrotic activity in human hepatic organoids, three-dimensional cultures that mimic aspects of liver tissue. These are not established patient treatments. They demonstrate something narrower. Machine-generated hypotheses can survive an initial encounter with physical biology when experts select and test them carefully. The system is only as trustworthy as its evidence. It emphasized open literature, missing findings behind paywalls, and failed experiments that were never published. Contradictory studies can mislead it, while its underlying models can still produce factual errors and hallucinations. Its tournament score is an internal comparison, not independent proof. The biomedical validations were promising but preliminary, and every case retained experts in the loop. Without human judgment and external experiments, a beautifully reasoned machine proposal remains a proposal. Faster idea generation can accelerate good science and convincing mistakes. For centuries, science has been limited not only by instruments and funding, but by the number of connections any one mind can examine. Systems like co-scientist point toward a different division of labor. Machines search thousands of possible explanations in parallel. Human scientists choose meaningful questions, recognize bad assumptions, design decisive experiments, and take responsibility for the consequences. If that partnership works, AI may not replace the laboratory. It may keep laboratories supplied with better possibilities. The 10-year mystery was not solved by a machine alone, and the catch is precisely why the result matters. When AI can generate a decade's worth of plausible directions in days, will science be limited by finding ideas, or by deciding which machine-generated idea is safe and valuable enough to test?